like to welcome everyone to the last session today of Face to Face, and as you know, it's not just see, now every teacher knows that I'm teaching at a high school when they hear the bells going on for the next class. So it's not one of our normal Wednesdays. This is an all-day, all sports business all the time, and David Eberhard's with us, who's taking care of our last session of the day. He is in the marketing of athletics at Brigham Young University. Full disclosure, anybody knows me knows I'm a BYU fan. I'm going to try to tuck the fandom inside of me and talk business. So welcome, David. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us, I'm going to do this one a little differently. Give me the typical day in David's life in BYU marketing. What do we do? You probably rolling about noon or so and hang out. And...
there's days that I wish I could roll at noon. For example, last night we had a basketball game. Got home at around 10:30, 11 o'clock, and then I was here at 8 a.m. this morning, which is a typical day. Typical day, I come in at 8, and me personally, because of other responsibilities that I have here at BYU, I leave at about 7:30. So I pull, 5, almost 12-hour days, which is typical in sports. Sports, you'll work, and then you'll work some more, and then you'll work your weekends.
Luckily, work while everybody else is having fun, right?
That's right. Yeah. But my job is also fun, So I'm at the games producing them and that kind of stuff. If it's not something that I'm like, my major sport is football. So my football game days are absolutely crazy. But basketball for me is a little more relaxed, where I'm just kind of fulfilling promotions and just helping out with other things that are kind of going around the event rather than doing the production side of it. But yeah, so a normal day, I'll get in 8 o'clock, answer emails that I got over the night, challenges, questions, problems, people's concerns, or their experience they had at the game, and just trying to, and then I try to make things better, and I look for new types of things to make the game experience better. One of the big things that we focus on are who we're marketing to, why they're there, where they're going, really trying to understand our people so that we can create an experience that they'll enjoy, so that they'll want to keep coming back.
As you start to identify who those people are, what's been some surprising findings, or is there anything that caught you off guard in the demographics or anything like that?
Yeah, we actually, here at BYU, we actually have a rather large contingent of non-member fans. We have a lot of people that, they either spent some time here in Provo and they were really impressed with a player or a coach or a facility, or maybe just the Christian values, or, that kind of stuff. Like right now we have a star player that came from UCLA. That's not a member of our faith, and he's here because of the values and kind of what we believe in, just having that similar background, and he's just really impressed with our campus and university.
For those who might not be familiar, let me just clarify that Brigham Young University is owned by the LDS Church, more commonly known as the Mormons, and there is a general assumption that the only fans are people of our faith, and as you're saying, that's it's not quite the case. There are people that are sports fans first.
Absolutely there are, and we love them all.
That's great. You were talking about how football is a crazy day. Now, most of our students who are watching this, they've never really had a chance to watch how a game day develops. Can you pick a home game and run us through a little bit about how that day develops for you? And don't worry about some of the things that don't sound as sexy and entertaining, because a lot of the day's made up of, I'm sure, some semi-mundane responsibilities that have to be taken care of.
Yeah. So I'll just go through our last game. We played Idaho. It was an 8:15 on a Saturday night was the kick start. Kick temperature was about 29 degrees. And I was out at the stadium around 3 o'clock, setting up for a 100-yard flag. So we had a 100-yard flag. We had to put it together. Had about 150 cadets, which I had to coordinate to get them there, and passes and clearance, and also trucks. So like they had to drop off the flag, which came in it was probably about a little over 1,500 pounds. This flag is. So we had to get clearance through the stadium in order to bring the cars in, because they have like gas laws and tons of stuff like that. Because you can't have a vehicle inside the stadium at game times because of explosions and whatever else. And so you've got to clear cars and when they're going to be in there. And so we had them come in, drop off where they were going to drop that off, get that cleared, get the 150 cadets all passes to get in early before the gates open. And then a staging place, because after that flag, after we got done practicing with it on the field, which we also had to clear, we had to go put it somewhere. And you've got this massive put-together flag. We needed a spot to put it, and so we actually had to lay out tarps on the snow because there was a foot of snow on the ground. And that was off-site, so it wasn't even in the stadium. And we were walking around freezing our tails off, and doing that with the flag. And then I also had pyro that day, so I had to do a lot of the clearance with the state laws with pyro and insurance, where we were going to have it, what was safe, what's a safe range, who's considered a performer, how close they can be, do we need to rope it off, do we need to protect people, do we need to have fire trucks on hand and safety, more do we need to make sure the hospitals are aware that we have explosions. And you go through a really large gamut of things with the pyro.
So David, how long did the actual fireworks last?
They lasted for less than 30 seconds.
And took you probably 10 hours worth of work to get it all approved and ready to go.
At least. A lot of red tape. And a lot of different departments that you have to work with. We also have safety administrators on campus, and Utah has certain guidelines, and then BYU has even more guidelines. So you're working with both of those entities to make sure that everybody's happy. And you'll find that with any school. Any school is going to have different bylaws, if you will. And then it was also a senior night, so we had to coordinate teams leaving, when they left the field, when they come off, and I had to coordinate. So a football game day, it probably takes me anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks to really nail down all of the timing, because I put a script together, which is about 30 to 40 pages of timing, of scripting. And it will script minute by minute or even second by second of what happens next, from the video board to sound to cheerleaders, dancers, mascot, promotions, things that are happening on the field, timeouts of TV, and coordinating with all that. Just everything that you can think of that happens during a game. I'm the one that coordinates it and puts it all together and constructs it to make sure that it can all fit. Make sure that we have all our promotional gear, make sure that we have all the signage in the stadium, make sure that we have all the video elements and that type of stuff. And it's a lot of work. Yeah.
How important is it that you're able? I don't think I'm guessing at this. Grand total probably 0 games has ever went exactly how you planned it?
No, in fact, we have some crazy stuff go on. So we'll have technical failures, video boards will go down, or last year our PA mic went down, and that's a nightmare. So we're trying to make public address announcements to everybody, and we've got scripted things that have to happen during a certain time that clients have paid for, and when the mics go down and the video boards go down, we're scrambling, and so I'm running around trying to get hard mics and trying to figure out and just problem solve. And you're always constantly moving things around and always trying to squeeze in and tuck things in wherever you can find space.
Okay, now I'm looking back, and your degree was in psychology with an emphasis in leadership.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to guess some of that leadership training might help you in this role of having to respond under a pressure and to be prepared to act as opposed to react.
Yeah, I grew up as an athlete, playing several different sports, but under pressure, I feel like I do my best work. I do my best work. And the reason for that is stuff's going to happen no matter what. I can either think calmly and react to the best of my abilities, or I can run around and just throw my hands up and just, oh, I can't believe, and complain and complain. I don't complain. I just do work. And, when you're getting beat in a game, you can complain about it and put your head down and not try hard, or you can push harder and you can fight more, and you can, until that whistle blows and the ref says the game's over, I'm fighting. I don't care if I'm losing by 50 or if I'm winning by 1,000. It doesn't matter to me. The leadership training that I get in school, the leadership that I got in my, throughout my life, and the people that I've been involved with, they definitely help me when things go wrong. I don't get nervous. I don't get scared. I'll do it, and I'll suffer the consequence, whatever the consequence be, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to do my best.
Can you tell us a little bit about what the structure is, the hierarchy, the positions within the athletic department, recognizing that I'm sure there's similarities in all universities and colleges, but the specifics will be a little different?
Yeah, so in regards to marketing, we have about 30 interns. From the 30 interns, we have 3 student positions. From the 3 student positions, we have 2 graduate assistant positions. From the graduate positions, we have 2 marketing coordinators, which are myself and Bill. From the marketing coordinator positions, we have a director, who is David Almodova. From the marketing director, who's also an associate athletic director over marketing, we would have, I'm thinking of names and now not positions. We have, we could probably jump up to an athletic director, but he also has his 3 people who are over different categories, whether it's women's sports or they split up football and men's basketball, and he's an associate athletic director, but he's actually an athletic director. And then from the athletic director, who actually oversees like all the coaches and everybody, he would report to, which would probably be similar to a VP on campus, who reports to ultimately the president on campus.
I'm going to guess that some of the people listening are thinking, 30 student interns, and that's just in the marketing department.
Yeah.
How do you use and abuse those poor interns?
Well, one, we never ask them to do anything that we're not willing to do ourselves, so we're out there with them. But on a football game day, we're there about 4 hours early, setting up tailgates and signage, and we feed them, we clothe them, we give them clothes and that kind of stuff. So we do take care of them, but they're not paid. But they also, in certain games, they'll get on-field access, and they get certain fringe benefits, if you will, and hanging out with, seeing a lot of players and coaches, and seeing kind of the inner works of BYU athletics. And but yeah, we definitely use them to help give away T-shirts and promotional items, and putting stuff out on the stands, and even helping. They even help us with game day atmosphere of coming to us with ideas of music, promotions, or how to get a hold of kids on campus and what's important to them at this time. And and they also help remind us about their schedules, and, well, this is midterms. Oh yeah, because we forget that stuff at times because we're not in school anymore. But no, our student interns, they're invaluable. They're very important to us. We definitely value them. I actually just came from a lunch that we took them all to lunch, because we just ended our home football season. And yeah, we definitely value their contribution.
Now, I'm guessing there are 2 types of interns: those that, hey, I'm a BYU fan, this would be cool, and those who are thinking maybe career down the line.
Yes.
How's that? The 30? How's that kind of split up for you?
We usually have about 10 that want to do something in that career. The other 20 are like business majors or public relations, communications, that kind of stuff. And typically the ones that are gung-ho and really help out and sacrifice, we end up giving them paid positions. So we'll have those 3 paid positions for students, and then as they graduate, if they're looking for a graduate degree while they're here, we also hire them as well. So we've had some people that'll be here for 5 years or even longer, working for us as a student and then a graduate student and as an intern and that kind of stuff.
What are you involved at all in the process of which one of those interns gets that paid position?
Absolutely.
What are you looking for?
Somebody that understands that you get in what you put out. If you just kind of show up whenever things are required, you get that out. You get, well, I got the requirement. Congratulations, you completed a requirement. But when you start thinking, well, I want to hire somebody, or I want to be, I want to be with somebody for the next 40 hours for the next 3 years. I don't want to hire somebody that's just like, a robot and not fun and only does the requirement. And, I want somebody that actually enjoys what they do. They have fun with it. They're willing to talk about it and think about it and come up with ideas and spend even their free time, not necessarily, doing the mundane things, but talking BYU football or BYU basketball or other sports and saying, what would be fun is this. And actually saying, you have the purple cow on the back of your thing there. We create the purple cow. It's like we want to create like, hey, what's that cow? That's purple. Let's stop and look at it. And that's what we try to do here at Athletics. We want to create that product within the brand of BYU and the church, and give people an experience that is unique.
What's the most recent purple cow that one of your interns at least planted the seed for you?
So, for example, we right now in our student section, we have a bunch of random life-sized cutouts of like Obi-Wan Kenobi with his lightsaber or like a little elephant and like big cyborgs and just like random things that you're just like, well, that's weird. But when you see them on TV, or like the giant heads and like the balloons and like all different kinds of stuff to make the student section just more fun. A lot of the student people come up with those ideas and things that on how we connect with them, and even like the Blue Man suits and wigs and just all different kinds of stuff that just make that atmosphere just more fun and more engaging and gives the students just a more fun experience being at the games.
I'm looking back at your resume and some previous jobs, and I'm not sure which order I'll go in, but I can't. We'll cover the trivial little NBA later. Okay. Tell me about the mascot gig.
Okay. I've actually. Are you talking about currently with the team?
I'm not sure. All I know is it says here is you've done some work as a mascot, so fill us in.
Okay, so I actually started at Utah Valley, a competing school here in the Valley, but I went into the NBA actually. I went from Utah Valley to the Milwaukee Bucks as a mascot.
You were Bango?
I was Bango.
I'm a Wisconsin guy, so I had season tickets for the Bucks for several years up there.
Oh, nice. What years were you there?
I left Wisconsin in '97.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was later than that. But yeah, so I was in Milwaukee for a couple of years, mascotting and marketing and community relations and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. They're great jobs if you can get them, and yeah, I don't know what to say. I loved it. I loved it.
What would be the most surprising thing that you would, we got a 17-year-old students checking this out and they're going to mascot. What's the most surprising thing about being a mascot that students might not know about?
Well, I mean, for me, each team is different. I was in Milwaukee and Miami full time, and spent a bunch of other summers with different teams in the league. Just seeing the inner workings and how different each program in the NBA is. And they're all very, very different, from the management to the players that they try to get to the ownership to the community around you and that kind of stuff. Just because, like, let's say you tried and you got a job somewhere and you like certain aspects of it, it doesn't mean that it's going to be the same somewhere else. It's like for example, my job here at BYU. If I go to Ohio or if I go to UCLA or somewhere else, it doesn't mean my job is just going to get better with a different salary. It doesn't. It's a complete different change. It's a complete different job. So that's one thing. And then also the fun side is, as a mascot, I got to play with the players all the time. I was playing one-on-one with Ray Allen and Sam Cassell and a lot of those other guys, and you're shaking hands with one of the guys that I shook hands with George Murasan, who older player, really tall. He's like 7'6" or whatever. I felt like a little baby. How you shake a baby's hand and your hand just kind of goes around it. That's what he did to mine. I don't have small hands. I mean, I got a pretty big hand. He just wrapped my hand. I was like, wow. But he was such a nice guy. And I mean, Shaq's huge. Kobe, all those guys. I mean, LeBron. I mean, like all those guys. They're really nice guys as long as you're nice to them. I think a lot of times they approach people, or people approach them with, what can you give me? What can you give me? Rather than just saying, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. I don't want your shoes. I don't want your shirt. I don't want you to give me a car. I don't know, that kind of stuff.
What team in the NBA do you think does the best job of really leveraging the value? Because I think a mascot can be a real contributor to the brand and to the team. Who does a good job of that?
It's huge. In years past, there's been quite a few teams that have done a really good job. Phoenix Suns is one of them. Utah Jazz is another. Seattle Supersonics a while back when they were there did a pretty good job. Let's see, San Antonio does a really good job. Houston does a really good job. And there's a couple of other small market teams that do okay, but I think between the ones that I said, I think those are the guys that probably do the best job of building a national brand with their mascot and understanding that he is the face that will never change. You can get a new owner, you can get new players, you can get basically a whole new team with a new building, a new whatever, but it's your mascot that's always the same. He's always there. And even if so understanding that brand and how people connect with that, like he should be their go-to connection, intimate, personal piece that really connects people.
Now, I've talked to a couple of guys that have been mascots in the NBA, and one of them had arrangements where he was paid a salary, if you will, and then he was given the opportunity, when not committed to the team, to generate revenue for himself and the team with appearances. Yep. Was that the setup that you had?
Yeah. So very, very similar. We take a certain split or a cut, if you will, because a split sounds 50-50. It's not 50-50. Most teams won't agree to 50-50, but some teams will agree to more. It just depends on what you work out and how you market yourself. Marketing yourself is very important in any job, whether you're in marketing or whatever. But talking to people, making them help understand of what it is that you're going to accomplish and what you're going to bring to the table and why you're worth 50% or maybe 80% of what you're bringing in. It is their brand, it is their opportunity that they've created, but who's really doing all the work? Is it the brand that's bringing in the money, or is it you that's bringing in the money? And just kind of talking to people and understanding how that split could work.
Did you do any unusual things? I mean, the grand openings and cutting ribbons and parties. Did you do some unique stuff too?
Absolutely. I mean, I've done from stadium openings to Harley Davidson to bratwursts to schools, corporate partner events, community events. I mean, you're at parades. Every and anything almost in any community that's like, oh yeah, have you heard about? And yep, mascot's going to be there. Somebody's going to be there. And the better you are, the more people want you. And then the more people that want you, the more that you can charge, and then also the more you're busy. So I mean, you can really run yourself rampant in the mascot world. And there's a couple guys that have, and they've not known how to take care of their bodies. It's a position that if you don't take care of your body properly and you think you can just go out and drinking and partying and whatever else, you'll destroy yourself. There's a couple of guys that have suffered strokes and heart attacks, from overabuse and just not taking care of themselves, and the amount of heat that you can take inside one of those things, and not being able to see, and the fandom of other fans, and you got to be careful, but it's also a very rewarding job. For me, one of my favorite things as a mascot was I was very personable and friendly with everyone. Didn't care what team you were from. I tend to hug a lot of people if they were willing to hug, and a lot of times you'd hug somebody and you could feel that they needed that hug, and sometimes I needed the hug, but you give them that hug, and you just kind of hold on and embrace. It's somebody you don't know, but for some reason, you had that moment, and it was for me, it was really cool. It was a great experience.
Well, and as a mascot, let's face it, anybody in the costume has a lot of latitude on how they can behave.
For sure.
In terms of things you might not be otherwise comfortable. We used to, again, when I lived in Wisconsin, I was right south of you there in Kenosha, and we'd have a Milwaukee Bucks game each year at our place where we'd bring in Energy, the dance team, and Bango would come down, and we would do that whole gig, and that was a good way. I mean, there are obvious reasons for us, but I think there were some solid reasons for the Bucks doing that too. I mean, it created a connection. Now they just weren't some people on the big Bradley Center court, but these were people that we saw up close and we talked to. And the visiting teams, basketball coaches always loved it when we brought in the dance team.
For sure.
Explanation there. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun with doing that. So.
That's one thing I've learned, not only in marketing but just in life. If you take care of people, people take care of you. And if you love them and serve them, and even when it's difficult, you love your students, you love your superiors and the people who work with you, or doing other positions around you. I don't want to say below you because I don't believe in below or above, but I believe in working effectively in the role in which I've been given, and then seek to make it better, and what it is that I can do to make those around me look good, and to love them and to help them not only accomplish the things in their job but their personal lives. And you start looking at somebody and what decisions and what creates a decision and why people make the decisions that they do, and what's important to them in their lives, no matter what background or ethnicity or country or thought or theology or whatever, wherever they come from. People want to be loved, and they want to be cared about, and they want to feel connected. And to me, marketing is an excellent way of connecting people and really helping people out.
That's great. I like when what we do in marketing and business is put in terms other than just revenue and profit. I mean, those are important because that's how jobs exist, but there's a way of getting there. There's a lot of different ways.
I agree.
With the NBA, were you in the NBA in other capacities besides this? You did some marketing and things as well with the NBA?
Mostly on the marketing side. I've been on the complete entertainment side. Used to own some entertainment groups, and from a mascot or acrobatic dunking teams, and that kind of stuff. So I've traveled around to most of the arenas in the NBA, and also in the college circuit and some high schools, and corporate events and that kind of stuff, doing acrobatic dunking. And other than that, marketing, I've done some stuff specifically for the NBA out of New York, but most of it's just kind of like street teams and going out and creating little venues to kind of connect people to the NBA, and just fun little events.
Just trying to reach over here and turn down my phone that's ringing in the middle of this.
No worries.
Tell me what you, if you look back, I mean, you've got some pretty wide and varied experiences, and then those who are watching are going to be high school students or their teachers. Knowing where you're at now and what you've learned, go back to high school. What would you tell these kids what would you tell them to take advantage of? What experiences should they seek out, and to prepare themselves to get into the athletic field as a marketing guy, or even as a mascot performer or whatever?
Yeah. For me, the earlier you can find out what you love to do, you can make money doing anything you love to do, because people will connect with that because they want to well, you love to do it and you're passionate about it, you'll learn about it, and you'll know the ins and outs of that position, and then you'll have to. And then the other thing is to learn how to market yourself and how to make money at it. So for me, as a performer or as an entertainer, how did I make money? Well, I didn't, and I first grew up an athlete thinking I was going to play sports, but when either injury happened or if for other people, if opportunities weren't there, opportunities actually were afforded me, but I chose not to take them because I didn't want that lifestyle. I found other avenues, and the avenue that I took was a mascot, which was beyond my thought and comprehension at that moment. But I took it and I made it what I wanted. It wasn't the, hey, look at me, I'm a mascot, shake my hand. I took it more to, well, I wanted to be a stuntman, or I want to do this. And so I was doing flips and tricks off of things and jumping out of roofs and blowing things up and launching myself across rooms and just doing all kinds of stunts. And it was fun. And I made it what I wanted, and people wanted to see what I was going to do next. And that's, it was, when I was doing it, it was the beginning of that position where it was going, and people wanted to see what I could do, and it was fun for me. And nowadays I train the mascot here, and we do a lot of tricking and a lot of free running and parkour type stuff, and and just I train people how to do them safely. So I mean, that's another thing, is the longevity is, for me, was most important, because if you think, well, I'll just be the craziest, and crazy doesn't last. Crazy gets you hurt, and then the next thing you know, you're out of a job because you can't do anything. So there's steps. Don't try to jump from one thing to the next. But I think if you understand, or what you want to do, stick with it. I mean, think about it. We have interns; they're not getting paid. You're going to have to do things where, especially in sports, where you're going to have to give a lot of time in order to be able to eventually get a job or a position that you want, because it's so competitive. When my position opened up, there was probably over 1,000 applicants, and I just got lucky that I had the background that they were looking for. And then you never know who's going to be doing the hiring, and so make friends with everybody, even the people that you think are the pocket protector, tape on their glasses kids, because that might be the kid that's going to hire you. And they're people too, and they want to be loved, and there's nothing wrong with being different. So just, hey, you're different. I'm okay with different. I think it's cool, and just a hello. I'm not saying you have to call them up and be their friend, but just be friends with everybody. Take care of people. People will take care of you. And then just find out what you love to do and find a way to make money out of it.
Okay, next semester is when I teach a sports marketing course, and every now and then I want a day off, so I call you up and convince you to come up and substitute for me for a day. Got 90 minutes with these kids.
Okay.
What are you going to teach them? Excuse me.
Well, what's the course objective is what I would think. My first thing is what am I trying to help people understand? Because to me, the most important thing that's going to help somebody is how to trust other people, how to help other people, and how to serve in whatever capacity you're called to serve. You may be an Einstein working as a garbage man, but you got to start out somewhere, And so to me, I would probably teach them and bring them outside of the classroom and let them get rowdy for a minute, and then hone them in with certain exercises that force them to work together, and teach them things on how to build relationships of trust and organization, and teach them that like there's the parable of the body, where you can have a head, but without a body, where's the head going to go? Or without ears or without eyes. Everybody has a role and function. And so the more people that we can get and teach to believe that everybody's important, and that if you take care of everybody, then everything will work more properly, and more people will have joy and happiness in this life rather than, oh, what time is it? I got to get out of work. I want to go home. I want to go do this. And you're always thinking about the next thing. But if you take care of people, and you teach people how to deal with differences and different strengths and even weaknesses, and I think I would probably go more toward teaching people how to work with differences and how to resolve conflict and how to connect with people, because really that's what marketing is connecting. And so teaching them maybe the fundamentals of, first, how do we connect with each other, and then taking those and saying, okay, last 10 minutes, how do I now take what I just taught you over the last 80 minutes, how do I now teach you how to put that into a business world, because nobody's much different than you and I. We're all the same. So how do we connect, and now how do I make that connection to everybody else that I'm trying to market to?
I've asked this question to a couple of our presenters and to other people outside of this, and I think what I need to do is just get 45 people to come in the semester, and then I'll facilitate and stand out of the way, because everybody's got such a great answer for different and totally different to do with it. And we have a tendency as teachers to, I think, to be too caught up with the curriculum, the course outline, the textbook or something, and we forget some of those things. So I appreciate that reminder.
Oh, yeah. No, I think if you continue on with that pattern, you could eventually take a vacation for the whole year and still get paid for it.
Let's keep that between you and I, that whole idea. David, I want to thank you for jumping up here and stepping up and helping us today by doing this episode and sharing your experiences, your thoughts, everything from mascots to a 100-yard flag, a couple of things we haven't dealt much with in the past for sure. Good luck. I do have to close because there's one question that one of my fellow teachers has me ask everyone. I'll close with this question. Obviously, you love what you're doing.
I do.
What's the dream job?
The dream job. Be financially independent and continue to do what I do, and that is love people, help others to succeed, help others to learn and grow, and to just help people to enjoy this life. For me, my dream job is serving and helping other people and helping them to understand why we're here, where we're going, and kind of how to get the most out of life, because life is an awesome experience, and there's so much to learn and to gain, and life for me is such a joy. And without that knowledge, if you're just kind of thinking that it's about getting a bigger house or a nicer car or things that really they make things easier, but they don't make you happy, and just really getting a grasp of life. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't have those things, but if you're focused on them, you're missing out on the big happy picture. Because a car is not going to make you happy. A home's not going to make you happy. It's the people inside it. It's the people that you can share it with. And if you can share those things and give those things and share everything, and just continue to make life better for yourself and the others around you, you could be that dirt poor family living with 12 other families in a single home down in Mexico, and you're going to be happy. Or you could be, Bill Gates with all his stuff and be happy. But you'd have more people happy with you because you're trying to help out other people. For me, life's about people, and whatever opportunity I get to influence is going to be the job that I would take.
Great. Well, I appreciate that. It's a great perspective, one that we probably don't either think about enough or get reminded about enough. So thanks for sharing with us today. Wish you continued good luck, and I'll be tuning in and looking at the games a little more differently now, knowing that you're down there running around crazy.
Sounds great. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Take care.
Good luck, everyone.